Now you see that evil will always triumph, because good is dumb.
When villains in fiction work, it tends to be because they're expressing this quality, this particular archetypal quality that goes back to classic literature all the way to the present day. This is named by Christopher Vogler in The Writer's Journey as the shadow. Now, Vogler comes up with these archetypes based on the work of Joseph Campbell and his mythic structures and Carl Jung and his archetypes of human psychology. And this one is the shadow. The archetype known as the shadow represents the energy of the dark side, the unexpressed, unrealized, or rejected aspects of something. Often it's the home of the suppressed monsters of our inner world. The shadow in fiction is often a character, not always, but often a character that reflects the aspects of the hero that the hero keeps hidden. Shadows can be all the things we don't like about ourselves, all the dark secrets we can't admit, even to ourselves. The qualities we have renounced and tried to root out still lurk within, operating in the shadow world of the unconscious. The shadow can also shelter positive qualities that are in hiding, or that we have rejected for some reason. So typically when we think of the shadow, we think of the villain, but it doesn't always have to be that. But the villain should, in some way, be the shadow of the hero. Villains that work tend to be foils for the hero in some way, and that's essentially what the shadow concept is. It's the villain fills in the gaps that the hero himself won't fill in. What makes Voldemort such a compelling antagonist for Harry Potter? It's not that they're so radically different, it's that they are so similar. Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, even from the very first movie, before we know about their familiar relationship, we know that they were both trained to be Jedi, or both being trained to be Jedi by Obi-Wan. And we know that Vader fell to the dark side, which means that Luke is at risk. That makes a connection between them. Saruman and Gandalf. The similarities amplify the differences. And we see those differences, we see what Gandalf could have been had he gone down a certain path. What Luke could become if he goes down a certain path. What Harry Potter could have been had he made different choices early in life. These archetypes, they're not supposed to be one-to-one representations of characters. As I said, the villain should be a shadow for the hero, but that's not all the villain should be. Each of these archetypes represents a psychological function. These are functions that different characters can trade throughout a story. The mentor archetype is not always going to be the mentor archetype. In 1984, O'Brien is the mentor archetype for Winston until he becomes the dark shadow archetype later on. He's actually the shapeshifter archetype throughout. So what is the psychological function of the shadow? The shadow can represent the power of repressed feelings. Deep trauma or guilt can fester when exiled to the darkness of the unconscious. And emotions hidden or denied can turn into something monstrous that wants to destroy us. The shadow may simply be that shady part of ourselves that we are always wrestling with in struggles over bad habits and old fears. This energy can be a powerful internal force with a life of its own and its own set of interests and priorities. It can be a destructive force, especially if not acknowledged, confronted, and brought to light. So the villain, the evil aspects of the villain tend to be all those aspects of the hero that the hero doesn't want to show. But also, the villain can represent some positive aspects of the hero that the hero keeps contained within his shadow self. That could be bravery or cunning, right? Aspects of the hero does have, but the hero just doesn't want to express because of guilt or fear or other things like that. And that the hero himself needs to discover within himself in order to properly be a protagonist against the villain. To actually be an opponent for him. He's got to step up and embrace those positive aspects of himself hidden in the shadow world that the villain has already embraced. The villain himself is going to express the negative aspects of the hero's personality. If the hero has a problem with anger. The villain is going to be outwardly expressing that, where the hero is trying to keep it contained. The function of the shadow in drama is to challenge the hero and give her a worthy opponent in the struggle. Shadows create conflict and bring out the best in a hero by putting her in a life-threatening situation. It's often been said that a story is only as good as its villain because a strong enemy forces a hero to rise to the challenge. Fortunately, this is not the case. If you have a strong enough hero, a strong enough other aspects to the story, you can get away with a weak villain. We saw that in some of the early days of the MCU. But a good villain tends to make for a better story. The challenging energy of the shadow archetype can be expressed in a single character, but it may also be a mask worn at different times by any of the characters. Hero themselves can manifest a shadow side. As I said, most of these archetypes, pretty much all of these archetypes at various times, can be worn by different people. Even the hero archetype can be traded or passed around. Like the other archetypes, the shadow is a function or mask which can be worn by any character. The primary mentor of a story may wear the shadow mask at times. In some stories, the person who starts out as the hero's love interest shifts shape so far that she becomes the shadow, bent on the hero's destruction. A shadow may also wear the masks of other archetypes. Shadows may become seductive shapeshifters who lure the hero into danger. They may function as tricksters or heralds, and may even manifest heroic qualities. Villains who fight bravely for their cause or experience a change of heart may even be redeemed and become heroes themselves. This idea of the shadow, absolutely crucial in my opinion, to attach this archetype to the villain, or to make sure that the villain expresses the shadow qualities of the hero in some way. Because it seems to me that in stories where the villain falls short, in some cases where the villain just has no connection to the hero, or the connection is just surface level. Sure, they knew each other once upon a time, or the hero has a personal reason to get revenge on the villain, but the villain doesn't actually echo or foil for the hero in any way. If there's no connection between them, then it's hard for us to find the reason to invest ourselves in that conflict. The conflict itself becomes less interesting. The conflict is more interesting if the villain is foiling for the hero, is the shadow of the hero's unstated, both negative and positive qualities. And of course, we want to see that connection at points. So we want to see the hero expressing some of those negative qualities that he keeps hidden at times. We want to see the villain expressing some of the hero's positive qualities occasionally that the hero actually expresses, so that we can see the connection between the two, and so that we're more invested in the transformation that goes on throughout the course of the story. Potential transformation. No one needs to go through a transformation if that's the way the story works. Shadows need not be totally evil or wicked. In fact, it's better if they are humanized by a touch of goodness, or by some admirable quality. This doesn't mean that they need to be secretly good guys who are just misunderstood, or people who have the right ends in mind but just are off in the means. Right? They don't need to be a fully sympathetic villain. That's something that is a very modernist take on things that we do not need to embrace for every villain. It can be okay for the villain to be a bad guy, but that bad guy should still have some admirable qualities, even if it's just the bad guy's brazenness, the bad guy's individuality, willingness to go against convention. Doesn't mean we need to follow them anywhere down that path, but their expression of those qualities may be wrong. The qualities themselves can be positive, and the hero could possibly find a more positive way to express those qualities. Shadows can also be humanized by making them vulnerable. Not a bad idea. Not necessarily weak. Definitely not weak, really, if it's going to be a true shadow and a true threat to the hero, but having some vulnerability, some weakness that the hero can discover that is a reflection or foil of the hero's own weakness, which is kind of caused by that shadow zone. The shadow character has his own shadow zone, which is where the hero expresses his positive qualities regularly in life. that weakness of the heroes is going to reflect in some way the weakness of the antagonist or the villain. And I think this last point is so crucial to remember, and it's going to get us away from the cookie cutter villain approach, the idea of the all evil villain who is just blah, 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 blah. Why is he evil to be evil? Why am I killing things? Because I like to kill. That can work occasionally, and there are some people who just want to see the world burn, but having a well-motivated villain is a good idea. It's important to remember in designing stories that most shadow figures do not think of themselves as villains or enemies. From his point of view, a villain is the hero of his own myth, and the audience's hero is his villain. Beware the man who believes the end justifies the means. Pretty much always the villain, right? Villain always believes that his goal is worth whatever he's willing to do to achieve it. A shadow may be a character or force external to the hero, or it may be a deeply repressed part of the hero. External shadows must be vanquished or destroyed by the hero. That, at least, should be the hero's goal or motivation. I think should be here is kind of narrowing our story down, moving it away from the tragic, and I think we can embrace the tragic here. And there can be cases where the external shadow wins out and kind of portrays a different theme, or portrays the theme in a different way. The lesson that the hero fails to learn, the victory that the hero fails to achieve, can, in some ways, even more powerfully deliver the lesson than the hero succeeding in his journey of growth. Shadows of the internal kind may be disempowered like vampires, simply by bringing them out of the shadows and into the light of consciousness. Or, again, on the tragic side, the failure to do so can lead to the external failure for the hero, and that tragedy can teach a lesson in its own. There's a reason why tragedy tends to last longer and have more impact than comedy or happy endings do, although there have been plenty of those stories over the years too. Tragic stories just tend to make us think with and dwell on our own shortcomings a little more, and the necessity of overcoming those shortcomings. Comedy and happy endings get us to focus on the possibility of overcoming those shortcomings, and we need that as well. We need to have that ability to be optimistic in some ways against the deep tragedies of life, but tragedy touches a little closer to realism, and so in some ways affects more of us more deeply for more things. Shadows can express positive as well as negative aspects. The shadow in a person's psyche may be anything that has been suppressed, neglected, or forgotten. Healthy anger or grief, if suppressed in the territory of the shadow, can turn to harmful energy that strikes out and undermines us in unexpected ways. The shadow may also be unexplored potential, such as affection, creativity, or psychic ability that goes unexpressed. So as I said, the shadow concept, crucially important for villains, but also very important for the hero and for the other characters as well. Every character can express multiple different archetypes over the course of a story, and the longer and more in-depth the story, the more of these archetypes can be expressed, or the more they can be explored. If you're trying to improve your villain and you're wondering why your villain feels cookie cutter or feels disconnected from your story, why more people aren't investing in it, or why you don't feel as invested in the conflict as you should, is the villain a shadow of the hero? Is he expressing those shadow qualities the hero keeps contained? And if not, how can you make him or her more villainous in that way, more a shadow of the hero? How can you examine the hero deeper to figure out what those missing qualities, those suppressed qualities are that can go into the villain? Very good mental exercise, I think, for developing characters. Even if you're just developing your character through writing the scenes of the story, well, how in the scene are the villain and hero going to interact? How are they going to express qualities both similar and different to each other? Again, they kind of have to foil each other if there's going to be that connection. The psychological concept of the shadow archetype is a useful metaphor for understanding villains and antagonists in our stories, as well as for grasping the unexpressed, ignored, or deeply hidden aspects of our heroes. So there you go, guys. That is the shadow archetype. It is a good way, I think, to think of villains, and for applying this to all of the characters that we come up with. Archetypes are something I like to return to now and then, just to kind of refresh in my mind these ideas and these distinctions that help to individualize characters so they don't start to blur together for me. So I hope this helps you out. What do you think of archetypes? What do you think of this concept in general, about the shadow in particular? How do you write villains? Does this help you out in terms of imagining villainy in your story? Leave your comments down below, and like the video and subscribe to the channel while you're down there. And please consider becoming a member. Click that join button and explore your options there. You can get some free content, get early videos, all for a cheap price, and you'd be helping me out. I would appreciate it immensely. Thank you to all my current members, and thank you guys for sticking with me here. And until next time, good luck. Be mindful of your shadow, and good writing. Peace.
Gentlemen, to evil.